Ancestors, thank you for your guiding hand. We are ready to involve you in our life plans. We're ready to invite your wisdom in the different areas of our lives. We ask our financially inclined ancestors to join us this year in our ability to save and earn money. We ask our homemaker ancestors to help us keep house, keep clean, keep up with the children and youth in our lives. We ask our ancestors who knew how to work with their hands to help us with our home projects, do-it-yourself fixes, all on our home items. We ask our ancestors with knowledge of conjure, hoodoo, root work, plant knowledge, and African and traditional spirituality to come into our lives and whisper the secrets of the old so that we will continue to connect, grow, and pass on this beautiful, powerful knowledge that so many evil entities have tried to wipe out or take from us. Ancestors, we ask that you permeate our lives to help uplift, teach, and make them better. Help us to utilize the generational wisdom that you carry as a whole. Ashe. Today we'll be doing 100 fire breaths, and remember, bringing the oxygen in our body, cleansing. We should feel slightly lightheaded, but if you're feeling really lightheaded, you need to just stop, and do only a little bit and grow as you strengthen up. But we're going to just start with 100 for this first month. And remember, when you breathe in, your stomach should go out. When you breathe out, your stomach should go in. We'll do 3 slow cleansing breaths, and then we'll do our 100 rapid breaths.
Kathy TV.
Hello and welcome to the Sankofa Ancestor Shrine, where every week we reconnect and invite spiritual Black folks to reconnect with our ancestors as we journey through our own individual crossroads. And I ask that you please consider donating to patreon.com/Sankofa Shrine to help support and help this movement grow and be bigger and bigger every time we reconnect. Today, I have a really exciting poem to share called Juju by Askia M. Torre. And I think this poem is really beautiful because it sends a message of using powerful words, of honoring ancestors that have come before us, of respecting the tradition. And it also is just a beautiful piece of evidence of how these traditions have carried on and maintained themselves in our communities over the years. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and read into that. Juju, Magic Songs for the Black Nation, 1970, by Askia Muhammad Torre. Written for John Coltrane, priest prophet of the Black Nation. We, poet and magic myth-making giants of song, wander on, holy the bones of our ancestors, wrapping in pyramid resting till the end of time. Holy the Magi, priests and myth scientists of Africa for sending him to us, he with the eternity upon his horns, cascading diamonds of destiny to our blues-ridden hearts, crushed against the towers of the West. O magic, to live dynamic in the soul against the deadly concrete and steel blaring trumpets. Hell, gazing from the blue killer eyes. Solo, solo, solo for the Africanic joys, rhythm thrilling from the mobile hips of chocolate mamas, birds of paradise, pagan colors, joy vibrating from the rat's nest of the West, and greens and cornbread, sweet potatoes, boogalooing in the brilliance of his smile. Praise be to Africa, mother of the Sphinx who brought our souls back from the land of the dead. Praise be to the old ones, magi in pyramidal silence, who made the juju in our blood outlast the Frankenstein of the West. Praise be to Thutmose and Hermes, Pianki and Nefertari, Songhai and Dahomey, Ghana and Benin. Now that is unfortunately only a excerpt. The poem itself is a lot longer, and I will put the link below for anybody interested. I did find a free copy of it in a Google, excerpt, ebook excerpt thing. So I'll put the link to that down below. And but I really wanted us to hear that, not only, just because when I heard it I really wanted to share it with somebody, but because I think it gives a really clear image of how the spirituality is so entwined with our everyday life, and how we can infuse our spirituality into our everyday life, how we can be utilizing the music, honoring ancestors, honoring people who are still here, honoring elders, honoring traditions, and there's nothing really wrong with you know utilizing those things that work and have worked for people, right? It's always good to find new ways to grow, but it's also really good to, find the ways to meld the old with the new. Um, I did also want to share some words from Nayyirah Waheed. I loved on page 90 and 91 of her book Salt, she has two poems, but here I've kind of given you a little excerpt, a line from both. So one is, she says, getting yourself together. What about undoing yourself? The fix. I think that was such a wonderful little poem, little ditty there, because she really gets to the heart of the matter. I think with especially African traditional religion and indigenous religion, reclaiming those, especially after being raised Christian or in an Abrahamic faith, it can be really difficult to shed a lot of the assumptions and just habits that we've picked up in other places. Habits like, expecting certain types of structure, condemning other types of structure, um, you know, finding like ways to make hierarchies that weren't there before, misogyny, homophobia, and transphobia. These are all things that I think, people are just so used to condemning in certain other religions, so that when they come over, it can be very difficult to try and shed those previous beliefs, or even realize where you have them, where you have these biases that aren't very compatible with traditional indigenous doctrine a lot of the time. And finally, she also says, a piece of her next poem was, our fathers write on us, all over us, their handwriting, whether they have spelled our eyes, our mouths, or the need in our brows, we can't help but be their poem. And this is such a beautiful sentiment, even though that poem goes on to, just be talking about um, having that lost parent, that parent who abandons you. Um, I think that this was such an important thought for everybody, because, we are, um, teaching the next generation, influencing a next generation. I know that there's a lot of really young people who follow me on spiritual Black girls more than I expected. I expected a slightly older crowd, but they're on the internet. The younger people are on the internet, and they are, influenced, and they're influencing, with what they're taking in. And I think that that can be a very good thing. And us remembering that there is another generation behind us, and that we are creating something for that purpose. So putting in that time and effort to learn, putting in that time and effort to try and actually apply things into our average daily lives, some spiritual housework, some spiritual, putting in that spiritual work to fix how we are parenting our kids, how we are raising them, changing the mindset around spirituality to be something more wholesome, not something as threatening or something to be feared or to hold over someone's head, or degrade their lifestyle in some way, like whether they're choosing to marry or not marry, have kids, not have kids, whatever their life may entail. Finding ways to support that, and finding ways for our spirituality to support that, and nurture it and help it grow. Um, so that is kind of where I wanted to talk about Salt and Nayyirah Waheed, but I thought her words she had some really beautiful nuggets of wisdom right there. My favorite line in Juju was definitely how the one about pyramidal silence. I'm not even sure how to say it. Pyramidal silence, who made the juju in our blood outlast the Frankenstein of the West. What an interesting way to describe the West, as like Frankenstein, this amalgamation of parts into some sort of misunderstood and awkward and prone to damage monster. Just a very funny observation. And then, of course, how it's a monster that sadly has consumed so much of us, so much of our knowledge. But what it could not consume was this energy, was this power that we have, this ability to really reach deep and access this ancient knowledge, this ancient power, this ancient bloodline. And that's not really something you can steal, nor is it something you can fake. And I think that's something that they've come to realize over these years, is that, you can copy someone's buildings and, rewrite a lot of history, but the truth often comes to light. Like, it takes time, but these lies, they're just too difficult to maintain, and they're so eager to prove it scientifically that they've kind of dug themselves into a bit of a hole several times, and redeemed blackness and Africanness, without anybody even really having to fight as that hard. But anyways, we've come to this really wonderful time where we don't have to turn to Egypt or protect Egypt in Kemetic, should I say, history as vigilantly as we have had to in the past century. And so we're at this really wonderful time where we have the time to put this energy into reclaiming, understanding, studying these other religions, and that we've come to know either through our place in the diaspora, or by tracing our bloodline, tracing our ancestry. All right, so today's was a little short. This was because I had my book premiere last Saturday night. Y'all, I was up way past my bedtime, but it is here. It is here. You can go to nomadicpress.com. You can just look up the word Apricity and Tatami. You can, look at the back. Look at this. It's official. Look at that. I'm officially a part of the Nomadic Press family, and all of the books have a different color, so when you collect them, like, it's like a little work of art. I'm so happy to do this. So I got to go on stage and read read out loud my poems for the first time. It's really crazy having that voice, having that ability to do so. It was my first time, you know. My times after, I'm sure, will be smoother and better delivered. But for my first time, I really wanted to, you know, I really want to cherish that memory, is what I'm saying. So I'm really happy that it happened. And I would love if you supported or if you bought this book for somebody who you know who was somebody, a victim of childhood sexual abuse, or, you know, is a transracial adoptee perhaps who's interested in these thoughts as well, and had some kind of experience that can be related to this. And so yeah, look, it's me. I'm in a little tree on the front of a book. I'm just besides myself. So anyway, this is why we're a little late this week, but next week we'll be right back on schedule. It just took it out of me, all is what I'm saying. That's why I brought that up too, is that it was past my bedtime, and then it, like, the experience was a lot and it really just took it out of me. I was exhausted through straight through Monday, but I had homework, so I was like trying to finish that. Anyway, I'm very glad I had the experience, but it was very tiring, and I'm glad my first time is behind me. So please pass this on, share it in a group that you think could be, you know, it could be beneficial to be in. And thank you so much for supporting. Please like and subscribe, and may your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads.